it's Leah. I was pretty happy to hear from some of you that said they really resonated with what I talked about yesterday and this whole new idea I have of sort of sharing with you the real time, my experience in learning about my nervous system and regulating my nervous system. So I'm excited on this journey. I don't know where it's going to take us, but I do know I love the nervous system. I love to teach about it. So now I'm going to be sharing in real time. So yesterday I shared with you, we've had kind of a busy couple of weeks, and busy, not just in physically busy, but also mentally, emotionally, cognitively busy. So yesterday we had planned to just sort of take actually the whole week and just do some minimal things. I actually had some appointments scheduled anyways. I had a group call and I had a couple of individual appointments with some clients, and my morning one had canceled, and I was like, that's awesome, because I was able to do a little bit more of my morning routine in a slower pace. And then I had my doodling group in my nervous system journaling club. We have a monthly doodling call, and I had planned to doodle. We try to do different emotions in this group, doodling different emotions, and I had on my planned agenda to doodle anger. And I realized that sometimes as we are trying to feel emotions and explore emotions and doodle emotions, they really do come up in your body. It's like the last thing I need right now is to try to be calling up any energy of anger. So I switched it. We doodled gratitude, because that was something that, with so many things going on in my life, I know that a sure way that helps me to get grounded is to be mindful of all the things that I'm grateful for. And we had a great discussion. Not grateful with toxic positivity, not trying to sugarcoat or put a thick layer of icing, as one of the women in our group said, a thick layer of icing over things. No, but it was in hard moments, there is always something to be grateful for. And so mapping it out, doodling it out was really, really helpful. After that session where I walked away feeling, okay, this was a good session to have today. I had another client and she had actually canceled on me. I was like, great. I scheduled some other things to do during that time, as I've been behind. I've been trying to catch up because I was away and taking a few days off. And then one of my sons was home, and I thought, I don't get that opportunity too often in the middle of the day. I just grabbed him. I said, let's go for a walk. Let's go pick up some lunch, bring it back. And so we did that. And as we were leaving, my client who had canceled sent me another note saying, actually, I'm able to meet after all. So can we meet? Now, that is something that in the past, I normally would have said, oh, yeah, totally, we can meet, because I had the time, but I had scheduled now the time for things for me. And I decided no, actually, I do have plans. The plans are with me for a walk with my son to get some lunch. And I'll see her next week. It's not like my clients are very important to me, but I'm important to me too. So we did that. We had lunch, and then I had another client. And this other client came to me with something that was really tender going on for her right now, coincidentally very similar to what I'm experiencing in my family. Lots of uncertainty, lots of overwhelm, lots of angst. And she shared that with me. And like happens to me so much with my clients, sometimes it's like we're always on the same wavelength. What's happening with them is often happening in my life, or I'll just have read something or learned something or talked to somebody that I'm able to share with the client whose challenge is coming up. And so what happens is she shared with me her situation, and there were things that as I was offering her, some questions, some perspectives. It was exactly what I needed to hear too. And I love how that works out. It's just so, so beautiful. Anyhow, there were two things that really stood out to me in our call yesterday. I'll probably talk about the other one tomorrow. But this one was, as she was sharing with me some of her anxieties and insecurities, really focused around things that are unknown. And then she shared with me some of the comments that she was getting from family members about the situation she had, which was bringing up more anxiety and more insecurities. And, you know, my coaching hat was on. And so we talked about what is fact versus story, which I think that is actually really powerful thing to do, because sometimes you have this realization that the angst that you feel, the anxiety that you feel, is coming from a place of simply just catastrophizing and, you know, going 20 steps ahead of the what ifs. And so I, you know, was able to bring her back down, make a list. I always find it so helpful to make a list of what do I know for sure, and what is the stories that she's telling. So when we looked at what she knew for sure, very little. She knew for sure a one-liner, and the rest was the stories. Now, these stories potentially could happen, potentially could be down the road, but is it worth her investment in that potential story? So that's my logical brain sharing that with her. And I know I've done that with myself so many times, and it's so helpful. So highly encourage that. Get it on paper, get it out of your head. What do I know for sure? What are stories? And then even from that point, when you know, what do I know for sure? What is there something I can do about it? What's in my control versus not in my control? I love mapping those out. But then I said to her, when we look at all these stories, when we look at all the catastrophes, and we look at all the things that she was feeling really uncertain about, the answer is, you know, maybe they will happen. Maybe the worst case scenario will happen. Maybe the best case scenario will happen. And so we started to explore a little bit more the idea of living in a maybe world, living in a world where this might happen. Yeah, maybe this is going to be hard. Maybe this is the direction. And as I was sharing that with her, I kind of felt my whole body soften too. This idea that I tend to catastrophize. I tend to jump down to worst case scenarios. I try hard to logically pull myself back to most likely and best case scenarios. But my body is often stuck in catastrophizing. And what maybe did was maybe allowed my body to soften. It was like, we're not going to gaslight you. We're not going to have toxic positivity. I feel you. I feel your uncertainty. I feel the insecurity. And maybe allows you to have that feeling there. But maybe also allows you to go in a different direction. So we talked about embracing the maybe. And maybe if something bad happens, maybe you are going to be able to handle it. Maybe it's not going to be as bad as you thought. Maybe some good will come out of it. Again, I didn't want to gloss it over and just like all these amazing good things, because often when we're in the messy middle, I don't like hearing that. Like when I'm in the messy middle, I don't really want to look for the silver lining right now. I know that there's going to be something that I can gain from the experience. But I challenged her to, even when people bring things up, when people are, concerned, because she had a family member who was bringing up all the things that could go wrong, I encouraged her to just answer, yeah, maybe. Because that allows it to be there, but it's no more true than maybe not. So it was something that I encouraged her to play around with, play around in her journaling, play around with what does maybe feel like in her body. Because I know for me, the maybe, when I'm dealing with uncertainty, it kind of matches better than having uncertainty and then the for sure this way or for sure the other way, because my body doesn't believe that. So the rest of the day, sort of chill. Last night, both my husband and I, it was like 9:30, And we both looked at each other and said, let's go to bed. And again, often I'd be like, we can't go to bed. We can watch a show or we can do something, or this is a waste of time. And we both were like, you know what? Let's go to bed. So I think we were in bed by 10 o'clock. So that's a way that I'm starting to listen to my body, dropping the shoulds, dropping what is expected, embracing the maybes of life. And that was my story yesterday. I'll see you tomorrow.